Good evening, America. Yeah, it's almost Halloween, or it's already Halloween, or it's been Halloween. I don't know when this video is going to come out for sure, but it's about a week or so before Halloween, and I thought this probably come out around the 31st. So anyway, good evening, America. What am I doing? I'm out in a wheat field. Yeah. Yep, this is a wheat field. Doesn't look like it, does it? That's a wheat field? Yeah, see all the grass? That's brand new grass growing up. Here's a close-up of it. Right here, here's some grass. Ah, I got me a sticker. Ouch. Anyway, right there. It's about 2 or 3 inches tall right now. That will end up growing up about 4 or 5 inches tall and thickening up a little bit, and then come winter, it'll all die. Well, gee, Stan, why would they plant... Get stickers in my knee. Why would they plant a plant right before winter and let it die? Oop, I'm sorry. All I have is my cell phone with me, so bear with me, people. Why would they plant a plant in the fall so it could die? Well, it doesn't die. It goes out there and it grows up and establishes some roots, and just like all good grasses, it goes dormant in the winter. It doesn't die, it just goes dormant. Well, what that does is, come springtime, when the rains come and nice, beautiful weather, the crop is already in. The seeds have already grown and got roots. They've already got a head start come springtime. So they're off to the races running and making a good plant that will grow and mature about the time it gets hot. About the time it gets to be 100 degrees out here and everything's starting to wilt, it's dying. It's ready to be harvested. So that's why they plant winter wheat around here. There's another variety called spring wheat. You can plant it, and it will, you plant it in the spring. I don't know where they plant that. All I've ever known is winter wheat. All of my life as a kid, growing up around my grandpa and whatnot, it's always been winter wheat. And that's what Kirk does, all winter wheat. I think maybe in other climates that don't get so hot, maybe the Dakotas or up into Canada, I don't know. But what we do is winter wheat, and that'll grow through the winter, and it'll be ready to harvest around June, late June, early July next year. So, what am I over here for? People have been asking me, Stan, what's Milo? You keep mentioning Milo. He harvests corn, or wheat, and corn, and soybeans, and sunflowers, and Milo. What is Milo? Milo is a nickname for sorghum. That's what the farmers around here call it, is Milo. And this is Milo. Now, there's 2 varieties. It just happens I'm standing right here on purpose. There's a red variety and a white variety. Not a lot of difference in them other than color, I don't think. What do they use it for? I've never ate Milo, Stan. I don't know what Milo is. I've never heard of sorghum. Sorghum molasses. I've heard of sorghum molasses. It's the old timers, 100 years ago or whatever. They would make sugary molasses type stuff out of the stalks of this plant, or a plant like it anyway. And they would make this kind of a syrup, and they poured over biscuits or something, and it was called sorghum molasses. And nowadays, you know, it's mostly maple syrup and stuff like that, and processed corn syrup. Anyway, you've got all your different syrups for pancakes is what I'm getting at, and molasses isn't as popular as it used to be. Anyway, the real purpose of this plant isn't for molasses and for your biscuit. It's for animal fodder. New word on me. I'd heard the word fodder, didn't know what it meant. Fodder means feed for cattle, or animal, livestock feed. Animal fodder, animal feed, okay? I didn't know that. Oh, come on, Stan, you're a farmer, you're supposed to know it. No, I'm not a farmer. I want to make that darn clear. I am not a farmer. Kirk is a farmer. I am a farmer's friend that drives a truck and is helping him for the fall, okay, through the summer and the fall. Once this is over, I'm out of here. I'm not going to be a farmer. People think you're really becoming a farmer. No, I'm not. I'm learning a little bit about it. It's always nice to know things. And what I am learning about it, I'm teaching you people a few things here and there. It's not an in-depth detailed. It's just kind of general people that don't know anything about farming. I touched the surface, okay? Anyway, red and white Milo, and what it is, this is the kind my grandpa made, was the red Milo, okay? And there was all these little seeds and little BBs. Oh, here we go, get you lined up here. And the sun is just in the camera's in a shadow here. Doggone it. Let me get turned around here. Let me try this one. All right, here's the plant, and here's the seeds, okay? Sorry. All I have is my cell phone today. I didn't bring any of my other cameras because I didn't think I was going to be doing any of this. But what you do is the combine comes along, cuts it off, and inside the combine, it kind of crunches it up. Not to where it grinds the seed, but it just breaks the seed loose from these stems, okay? So it breaks that all loose, kicks the stem out the back, and a leaf or whatever, out the back of the combine. And what's left over is this stuff, okay? And there's a fan in there. I'm going to crunch this up. It's easier to do two-handed, but there's fans inside the combine that blow the lighter stuff away. And what you're left with is two little bitty seeds, at least what I'm left with. And, oh, I dropped it. Ah, oh, doggone it. Here we go, let's get some more. All right, so anyway, what you're left with, here you go. See those two little bitty seeds? You're left with a whole bunch of those. Take 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000 times 1,000. Anyway, a whole bunch of these. And that's what these big piles in town of Milo is. It's this red and white kind of mixed together, and it almost has a pretty, what's the name of that land formation out in the painted desert? It almost looks like a painted desert. But it's Milo. Anyway, so they stack wheat up, and they stack corn up, and they stack Milo up. And the Milo is the red with all the different streaks in it because it's red and white kind of mixed together. And it's actually kind of pretty. So what they do is they feed this to cattle, and they can feed it just as is. They can take it right there and hand that to the cow, and he'll eat it, okay? What else they can do with it is they can take it to the ethanol plant, and the ethanol plant will process it and burn it up and use it all, and there's nothing left over. That's what I thought. That's not the case. What the ethanol plant will do is they'll take that seed, and they'll use about 25% of that seed. They'll process it and cook it, and whatever, however they make ethanol. They'll process it all out, and they'll use the sugars that are in it. Okay, in corn and in Milo and even in wheat, but mainly corn and Milo, they'll process it and use the sugars to make the alcohol. Just very, very similar to a whiskey distillery or a beer brewing, okay? You're turning it into alcohol. Guy was telling me the big difference between this and ethanol and whiskey is flavor. That's it. With whiskey, you're trying to make it taste good. With this, you're trying to make it burn good, okay, the ethanol. So they'll make ethanol out of it, and I always thought this was just, it was gone. You threw it in the trash. I mean, and he's no. They'll use about 25% of the sugars and stuff that are in it, but there's all these other ingredients that are in minerals and proteins and all the other things that are in this that stay in the distiller's grain. Okay, what's left over is called dry distiller's grain or wet distiller's grain. Okay, and what they do over here at this ethanol plant is mostly DDG, dry distiller's grain. They'll take that dry distiller's grain across the freeway to the big feedlot, and the other feedlots around, but that's the big one. They'll take it over there and they'll feed it to the cow, and the cow gets about 70% of what's left that the cow uses to make your meat. Okay, so I always thought that ethanol was a bad thing because it's burning up all our food. No, it's using a part of the food and actually making that food more, that Milo or the corn more potent. It's almost like it's what do they call it when you have a something in a pan like gravy and it's too thin, and you cook it down until it's thicker and drier, more thicker. What's the word I'm looking for? I'll put it right here. Anyway, it's the same process. You're actually making what's left over, the dry distiller's grain, is actually more potent per pound than this is. So the cow still gets a lot of use out of it. So they'll get all this use out of it, and then we have our meat. So you have more grain for the farmer to grow, to sell to the ethanol plant. The ethanol plant uses it to make alcohol to put in your car to burn. It's renewable gas. There's pros and cons to it. I know it doesn't get quite as good a fuel mileage as regular gas. Some say it burns too hot and it burns your valves up. That's what these new cars are made for, E85, like a Ford pickup. My pickup is good for E85. Anyway, that's all for another discussion. But what I want to tell you what Milo is, and it's this sorghum-based plant. Okay, so with that, here comes the combine and the grain cart to load us up, and I'm going to turn the camera off before it gets loud and dusty. So now you know what winter wheat is, the stage it's in late October. The Milo, what Milo is, there's a red and a white Milo, what it's used for. There's other varieties of Milo that people can eat. You know, I always wondered what porridge was. I don't know this, but I think porridge is a sorghum that they make into like almost like a oatmeal or a cream of wheat kind of thing, I think. Don't know. Maybe somebody can tell me. So anyway, with that, I gotta get out of the way. They're gonna run me over. So ciao, later.